Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Ty Hauser, and let's queer up the USA view. Supreme Court to decide fate of LGBTQ youth protections. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case challenging Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for minors, a widely discredited practice. The ruling could have national implications, determining whether states can continue prohibiting what medical experts call a harmful and ineffective treatment. The case, Childs versus Salazar, was filed by Kaylee Childs, a licensed counselor in Colorado Springs, who argues the state's 2019 law violates her First Amendment rights. Represented by the far-right legal group Alliance Defending Freedom, Childs claims the law censors her ability to counsel minors experiencing same-sex attractions or gender identity confusion who, in her words, quote, prioritize their faith above their feelings. Okay. LGBTQ advocacy groups are warning that this case could set a dangerous precedent. Human Rights Campaign President Kelly Robinson stated, quote, the Supreme Court's decision to take up this case isn't just about so-called conversion therapy. It's about whether extremists can use our courts to push their dangerous agenda. The case comes as Supreme Court also weighs U.S. versus Scrimetti, which challenges Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth. Three conservative justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Brett Kavanaugh, have previously indicated support for hearing cases on LGBTQ medical care. Currently, 20 states and Washington, D.C. prohibit conversion therapy for minors, but in 2020, the 11th Circuit struck down bans in Florida, creating a divide among federal courts. Childs' attorney argues the Supreme Court must now resolve that split. The Supreme Court will hear arguments in its next term beginning in October. Well, first of all, you don't get to have freedom of speech when your freedom of speech hurts someone else. Like, that's not what freedom of speech means. So I don't know how, I know exactly how the Supreme Court will side with her on this, but if they do.
And the answer is yes. Extremists can use the Supreme Court to push their agenda, and it's happening on a daily basis, which is, again, why, for how long we've mentioned and kept saying over and over again, elections have vote and consequences, and these are the consequences we're going to have to deal with, and they have repercussions for many, many years to come. And so, I hope that I can put some wisdom into the Supreme Court, but I don't see that coming down the pike. So we're just going to have to hope for a time when we can replace some of those justices, but it's not an easy process.
For a little while, it seemed like twisted evangelicals had taken over Colorado Springs, the ones that had kind of gone silent for a while. However, they probably feel more empowered now, given the current administration. So they're back.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.